December 30th, 2021, 11:47 p.m. Gloria Choi walks into the Lakewood Police Department carrying 7 pieces of paper. She's been working on this document for days. 7 pages, single-spaced, chronological, everything dated, everything documented, every email, every phone call, every violation of the no-contact order she got against her ex-boyfriend 2 weeks ago. She hands it to the officer at the desk. Page 1, the emails he sent despite the court order. Page 2, the calls to her phone, her work, her friends. Page 3, video stills from the Holiday Inn surveillance cameras showing him in the parking lot. Page 4, witness statements from coworkers who saw him following her. Page 5, the tire slashing incident from earlier that night. Page 6, locations, dates, times, a complete timeline. In page 7, I am afraid he is going to kill me. The officer takes the document, reads it, writes a report noting that William Billy Rickman is potentially tracking Gloria with Apple AirTags, owns numerous firearms, and appears to be extremely manipulative. The officer reads Gloria's words, sees the pattern, recognizes the escalation, notes that this man has been violating a court order multiple times per day for 2 straight weeks. The officer becomes concerned for her safety, but no arrest is made. 48 hours later, Gloria Choi is dead, shot 14 times while on the phone with 911, begging for help that never came. And here's the question that should haunt every single person who touched that 7-page document. What was in those pages that could have saved Gloria Choi's life? Think about what it takes to write 7 pages documenting your own stalking. You have to go through your phone and find every unwanted call, every threatening text, every email sent in violation of a court order. You have to remember the dates, the times, the places you saw him when he wasn't supposed to be there. You have to pull surveillance footage, get witness statements, build a case against someone you once trusted, someone you once loved, someone who knows where you live, where you work, where your son goes to school. Gloria Choi did all of that. She did everything a domestic violence victim is told to do. She got the protective order. She documented the violations. She reported to police not once, not twice, 11 times across 3 different counties, Pierce, Thurston, and Lewis. 11 separate reports. 11 separate officers. 11 separate opportunities for someone to act. She gave them a 7-page roadmap to arresting Billy Rickman before he killed her. And Washington state law is clear. Violation of a domestic violence, no-contact order triggers a mandatory arrest. All an officer needs is probable cause to believe the order has been violated. Gloria gave them probable cause. 7 pages of it, documented, time-stamped, with video evidence, with witness statements, with everything prosecutors would need to file charges. So why wasn't Billy Rickman arrested on December 30th? Why was he free on January 2nd to follow Gloria from her workplace, run her truck off the road, and shoot her to death while she screamed for help on a 911 call? The Lakewood Police Department's answer came in a courtroom in January 2025. Nearly 3 years after Gloria's murder. A city lawyer stood before a judge defending the department in Gloria's family's wrongful death lawsuit. The judge asked, a police officer could still sit back and do nothing in response to a complaint by a domestic violence victim because there's no duty to look for the abuser? The city's lawyer answered, that's correct. Let that sink in. A woman can give police a 7-page document proving her ex-boyfriend is violating a court order, proving he owns guns, proving he's tracking her movements, proving she's in danger, and police can do nothing. Because their duty only exists if the abuser is standing right there at the scene, Not if he's 10 minutes away. Not if he's across town. Not if he's sitting in his truck in a parking lot watching her workplace. Only if he's physically present when the report is filed. Gloria Choi is dead because of that legal loophole, and the 7 pages she wrote became evidence in her own murder investigation instead of evidence that could have prevented it. Drop a comment right now. Tell me where you're watching from, and tell me this. Do you think the police had an obligation to act on what Gloria gave them? Because I want to know if I'm the only one who thinks 48 hours was plenty of time to save her life. Subscribe, because this case isn't over. The wrongful death lawsuit is still ongoing as of May 2026. And when that verdict comes down, you need to be here. Before we talk about those 7 pages, before we talk about what the police didn't do, you need to know who Gloria Choi actually was, because she wasn't just a victim, or she was a person, a real, vivid, complicated, wonderful person. Gloria Go-Yoon Choi was born on October 26, 1988, in South Korea. She came to the United States as a young girl with her parents, who had spent years building a life in the hospitality industry. Her family ran hotels, not corporate chains. Family-owned properties where every guest mattered, where service wasn't just a job, but a calling, where you learned people's names, remembered their preferences, made them feel like they were coming home instead of just checking into a room. And Gloria grew up watching that, learning that, becoming that. By the time she was in her 20s, Gloria was managing a Holiday Inn in Lakewood, Washington. Not just working there, managing it. At 33 years old, she was the kind of professional who made things run smoothly. Who remembered guests' names, who solved problems before they became crises, who made her employees feel valued and her guests feel welcomed. Her best friend, Brianna Eberly, worked at the hotel with her. Brianna described Gloria as someone who always reminded me that I was a good person no matter what, and that I was a good mom because I doubted myself a lot. And she reminded me every day that I was good. That's who Gloria was, the person who saw you doubting yourself and made it her mission to remind you that you mattered. The person who noticed when you were having a bad day and checked in on you. The person who celebrated your wins and held space for your losses. Gloria had a young son, a little boy she was raising on her own. A little boy who is now growing up without his mother. Her parents described her as an angel, not because she was perfect, but because she was passionate about family, about loyalty, about showing up for the people she loved, about being present, being reliable, being the kind of person you could count on no matter what. She worked nights at the hotel so she could be there for her son during the day. She sent him to stay with relatives on weekends when her schedule was heavy. She built her entire life around making sure he had stability, consistency, the kind of childhood where he always knew his mom would be there. She was saving money, planning for his future, thinking about college funds and soccer camps and all the little expenses that add up when you're raising a child alone. And in May 2021, a man checked into her hotel who would destroy all of that. His name was William Billy Lee Rickman. He was 46 years old. I drove up from California, checked in for an extended stay, said he was in town for work, said he needed a quiet place to stay for a few months while he figured some things out. And the moment he saw Gloria walking through the lobby, he made his move. Brianna Eberly was there. She watched it happen. Gloria was coming into the office, Brianna recalled. He walked up and introduced himself, and he's like, "You're very pretty." And she goes, "Well, thank you." She walked away, and he's like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "Her name's Gloria." Stay away. But Billy Rickman didn't stay away. He started texting Gloria. A lot, constantly. Messages throughout the day asking how she was doing, what she was up to, when her shift ended. At first, it seemed harmless. Compliments, attention, interest. So the kind of thing that makes a single mother working 60-hour weeks feel seen, feel noticed, feel like maybe someone out there understands how hard she's working and wants to be part of her life. Gloria's family lawyer, Megan Driscoll, described it as love bombing. He really came across as this nice guy, Driscoll said. Love bombed her, meaning he's giving her gifts and kind of showering her with kindness, showing up with flowers, offering to help with things around her house, saying all the right things about wanting to meet her son and be a positive presence in her life. And Gloria, who just wanted to be loved by somebody, who had been raising her son alone for years, who was tired of doing everything by herself, let her guard down. They started dating. It moved fast. Within weeks, Billy was spending most of his time at Gloria's place, meeting her friends, becoming part of her routine. For a few months, it seemed good. Billy seemed devoted. He seemed stable. He seemed like the kind of man who could be a partner, maybe even a father figure for her son. But then cracks started to show. Billy drank, and when he drank, his personality changed. Gloria noticed it first in small ways. A short temper when things didn't go his way. Angry outbursts over minor inconveniences, the way he'd shut down or lash out over nothing, the way he'd get possessive about where she was going, who she was talking to, why she wasn't answering his texts fast enough. Then it got worse. He started showing up at her workplace unannounced, sitting in the lobby watching her, texting her constantly during her shifts, getting upset if she didn't respond immediately, questioning her about coworkers, about guests she'd been friendly with, about why she needed to work so much anyway. The gifts stopped feeling generous and started feeling like obligations, like she owed him something for every flower he brought, every dinner he paid for, every nice thing he said. By November 2021, Gloria knew she had to end it. On November 28th, she went to the Tumwater Police Department to file a report, not about violence yet, about her truck. Billy had borrowed it and refused to give it back, said he needed it for a few more days, then a few more days, then indefinitely. But while she was there filing that report, Gloria told the officer something that would later become evidence of how much danger she knew she was in. When Billy is sober, he is calm. But when he drinks, he has a short fuse and is very angry. I wish him well, but choosing to not be a part of his life anymore for the safety and stability for my son and I. The safety and stability for my son and I. Read that again. Gloria knew. She knew Billy was dangerous. She knew staying with him put her son at risk. She knew this relationship had gone from uncomfortable to unsafe, so she ended it. And that's when everything fell apart, because Billy Rickman didn't accept that the relationship was over. He started following her, showing up at places he knew she'd be. The coffee shop she stopped at before work, the restaurant she met friends at, the grocery store near her house. He called her phone constantly. She blocked his number. He called from different numbers. He texted her friends, asking where she was, what she was doing, whether she was seeing someone else. He emailed her despite her blocking him on every platform she could think of. Gloria went back to police. This time, she got a domestic violence no-contact order. The order was clear. Billy Rickman was not allowed to contact Gloria Choi in any way. No calls, no texts, no emails, no showing up at her workplace, no third-party contact through friends or family, no physical proximity within 1,000 feet. The order was issued in mid-December 2021. Billy violated it the same day it was issued, and he kept violating it over and over every single day, sometimes multiple times per day. Gloria documented every violation. She saved every email that came through despite the order. She recorded every unwanted call. She took screenshots of texts sent from new numbers. She asked coworkers to write statements when they saw Billy in the hotel parking lot. She pulled surveillance footage showing his truck circling the property. She was building a case, methodically, carefully, the way you're supposed to when the system tells you that documentation is your best protection. And on December 30th, 2021, she compiled all of it into a 7-page document and gave it to police. 48 hours later, she was dead. January 2nd, 2022, 10:13 p.m. Gloria Choi finishes her shift at the Holiday Inn in Lakewood. She's the manager, so she's one of the last to leave. She locks up the office, checks that everything is secure, and walks out to the parking lot. She gets into her 2019 Ford Ranger and starts driving home. She's going home for a quick dinner break before returning for the late shift. A routine she's done 100 times. The drive takes about 15 minutes. She knows every turn, every light, every stretch of road. But tonight, she's not alone. Billy Rickman is in the parking lot, waiting, watching. He's been there for hours, sitting in his Chevy Colorado pickup truck. Dark, unremarkable. The kind of vehicle that blends into traffic, that doesn't draw attention, that could be anyone's truck parked in any parking lot. He's been watching the hotel, watching for Gloria's shift to end, watching for her to walk to her truck, watching for the moment she pulls out of the lot and onto the street. He follows her. Gloria notices almost immediately she's been hyper-aware for weeks. She knows what his truck looks like. She knows his patterns. She knows he's been violating the no-contact order every single day. And now he's behind her, following her onto the main road, matching her speed, staying close enough that she knows it's deliberate. At 10:17 p.m., Gloria calls 911. I don't know where I am, but I'm scared to get out of my car. Her voice is tight, controlled. She's trying to stay calm, but you can hear the fear underneath. She's driving, trying to figure out where she is in the dark, trying to stay on well-lit roads, trying to stay calm. The dispatcher asks her to look for street signs so they can send help. Gloria sees one. I'm at 112th Street Southwest. She's in a residential area now, houses on both sides, dark yards, no one outside, no witnesses. And then Billy makes his move. He rams her truck from behind. The impact is sudden, violent. Gloria's Ford Ranger lurches forward. She loses control for a moment. The steering wheel jerks in her hands. The truck veers toward the side of the road. I think my boyfriend's following me. He just hit my car. The dispatcher is trying to get more information, trying to keep her on the line, trying to get officers there as fast as possible, trying to understand what's happening. But Billy Rickman isn't waiting for police. He hits her truck again, harder this time. The impact sends Gloria's Ford Ranger off the road completely. She veers toward a utility pole. The truck crashes. The airbags deploy. The impact jars her forward and back. Gloria is still on the phone with 911, still begging for help, still hoping someone will get there in time. Billy Rickman gets out of his truck, walks toward Gloria's driver's side door. Purposeful, deliberate. This isn't rage. This isn't passion. This is execution. Gloria sees him coming, sees what he's carrying. He's got a gun. Please come. Billy Rickman stands next to the driver's side window. Gloria's door is locked. She's trapped inside the truck. It's crashed against the utility pole at the 6100 block of 112th Street Southwest. The front end is crumpled. The airbags have deployed. She can't drive away. She's not trying to get out. She's staying inside, hoping the locked door will protect her, hoping police will arrive, hoping the 911 dispatcher can somehow save her through the phone. It doesn't work. Former Pierce County prosecutor Greg Greer later reviewed the evidence and described what happened next. He's not trying to talk to her. He immediately starts firing. He's there to kill her. He is there to kill her. Billy Rickman fires 9.40 caliber bullets through the door and window of Gloria's truck. 9 shots at close range through the locked door. The bullets tear through metal and glass. They hit Gloria multiple times. The 911 dispatcher hears every single shot. Hears Gloria's screams. Hears the moment the screaming stops. Then, Billy Rickman walks around to the passenger side of the truck. He rolls down the window that Gloria had left slightly open for air circulation and fires 5 more shots, 14 total. 10 of them hit Gloria. Prosecutor Greg Greer, who spent decades handling violent crimes before retiring in 2024, said this about the audio from that 911 call. I did learn the Korean language while I was in the Air Force, and I could hear very clearly Gloria calling for her mother. The word is Iama, mother. Or, in her final moments, as Billy Rickman shot her to death, Gloria Choi called for her mother in Korean, called for safety, called for protection, called for the person who brought her into this world to somehow save her from leaving it. The 911 call lasts 2 minutes. 2 minutes from I'm scared to get out of my car to the moment Billy Rickman walks away and Gloria stops breathing. By the time officers from the Lakewood Police Department arrive, Billy Rickman is gone. Disappeared into the night, and Gloria is dead inside her truck, her foot no longer pressing the brake, the vehicle having rolled forward slightly after the shooting until it hit the pole more firmly. One of the first officers at the scene is a woman. She approaches the truck carefully, sees the bullet holes riddling the door and window, sees the blood. It sees the body slumped over the steering wheel. And then she sees the lanyard around Gloria's neck. It's from the Holiday Inn. And suddenly, this officer realizes she knows this victim, because just days earlier, just 48 hours ago, she had taken a report from Gloria Choi. A report about a man named Billy Rickman who was stalking her, harassing her, violating a no-contact order. A report that included a 7-page document detailing every violation, every threat, every reason Gloria was afraid. Now, Gloria is dead, and Billy Rickman has a 4-day head start. The first priority is obvious. Find Billy Rickman. Within 3 days, law enforcement has enough evidence to issue an arrest warrant. The 911 call identified him by name. Surveillance footage from the Holiday Inn shows him in the parking lot before Gloria left work, sitting in his truck, waiting. Witnesses place him following Gloria's vehicle. They have a description of his truck. They have his last known address. And they have the 7-page document Gloria gave police 2 days before he killed her, documenting every single violation of the no-contact order. But Billy Rickman is gone. For 4 days, he's in the wind. No sightings, no contact with known associates, no cell phone activity, nothing. Then, on January 6th, 2022, investigators get a break. Rickman's phone pings in Humboldt County, California, Northern California, hours south of where he killed Gloria. Local law enforcement tracks the signal to a relative's house in a rural area. Billy Rickman showed up drunk, hammered, barely coherent. The relative didn't want him there, didn't want him in the house, could tell something was wrong. Something was off, something had happened. So the relative offered to drive him to a nearby casino, put him up in a hotel room there instead, get him somewhere else, anywhere else. The relative is driving his black BMW. Billy Rickman is in the passenger seat. They're heading toward the casino when tribal police pull them over for a minor traffic violation. Routine stop. Tail light out. Should have been a warning and a wave through. But the tribal officer runs the plates, sees the vehicle is registered to someone in the area, asks for both IDs, runs Billy Rickman's name, and the warrant pops up. Wanted for aggravated first-degree murder in Washington State. The tribal officer calls for backup, calls the California Highway Patrol. CHP rushes units to the scene. Dash cam footage captures what happens next. Billy Rickman, realizing he's been identified, shoves his relative out of the driver's seat, literally pushes him onto the pavement. The relative hits the ground hard. Billy jumps behind the wheel, guns the engine, and takes off. A pursuit ensues. Rickman is drunk, reckless, driving a stolen BMW through Northern California with every law enforcement agency in the region mobilizing. Helicopters, road spikes, units blocking intersections. It doesn't last long. Rickman crashes, arrested, extradited back to Washington, charged with aggravated first-degree murder. And that's when the evidence against him becomes absolutely overwhelming. Prosecutors build their case methodically, piece by piece. The 911 call where Gloria identifies him by name, where you can hear her begging for help, where you can hear the gunshots, where you can hear her final moments. The surveillance footage from the Holiday Inn showing Rickman's truck in the parking lot for hours before Gloria's shift ended, showing him waiting, watching, stalking. The witness statements from Gloria's coworkers who saw him following her, who recognized his truck, who knew he wasn't supposed to be there. The forensic evidence from the scene. 14 shell casings from a .40 caliber handgun, all matching the weapon Rickman owned. The pattern of stalking and harassment documented in Gloria's 7-page report that she gave police 48 hours before he killed her. And Billy Rickman's own criminal history. Turns out he had a record in California, 2 felonies, 4 misdemeanors, spanning from 1993 to 2009, domestic violence offenses included. Which means Billy Rickman had a documented history of violence against women. A history law enforcement knew about. A history that should have raised red flags the moment Gloria filed that first report in November. A history that should have been referenced in every subsequent report she filed. But no one connected the dots. No one ran his full background. No one flagged him as high risk. At his bail hearing at Pierce County Courthouse, Billy Rickman pleads not guilty. His trial begins in late November 2023, nearly 2 years after Gloria's murder. The defense argues there's no physical evidence directly linking Rickman to the shooting. No fingerprints on the gun, no DNA at the scene beyond what you'd expect from someone who had been in Gloria's truck before. No smoking gun. But the prosecution doesn't need a smoking gun. They have Gloria's voice on the 911 call. They have 14 bullets fired into her truck. They have surveillance footage. They have witness testimony. They have the 7-page document Gloria gave police proving Rickman had been stalking her, violating the court order, escalating his behavior for weeks. And they have the pattern. On December 7th, 2023, after less than 2 days of deliberation, the jury convicts William Billy Lee Rickman of aggravated first-degree murder. 8 days later, on December 15th, 2023, he's sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Today, at age 51, Billy Rickman is incarcerated at Monroe Correctional Complex in Snohomish County, Washington. He will never be free again. He will die in prison. But here's what the conviction doesn't answer. Why was Billy Rickman free to kill Gloria on January 2nd when she had given police everything they needed to arrest him on December 30th? Let's talk about what was in that document, because this is the part of the story that should enrage you. Gloria Choi spent days compiling a 7-page report documenting every single violation of the no-contact order Billy Rickman committed after it was issued in mid-December 2021. Page by page, here's what she gave police. Page 1, email violations. After the no-contact order was issued, Billy sent Gloria multiple emails. The order specifically prohibited all contact, including electronic communication. Gloria saved every email, printed them, documented the dates and times, highlighted the sections that were threatening or harassing. Page 2. Phone calls. Billy called Gloria's phone repeatedly despite the order. She didn't answer, but her phone logged every attempt. He also called her workplace multiple times, asking to speak with her, asking other employees where she was. He called her friends asking about her, trying to get information about what she was doing, whether she was seeing anyone else. Every call was a violation. Every call was documented. Page 3. Surveillance footage. Gloria worked with hotel management to pull footage from the Holiday Inn parking lot security cameras. The footage showed Billy's vehicle in the lot on multiple occasions when he had no legitimate reason to be there. He wasn't a guest. He wasn't visiting anyone. He was just there, watching, waiting. She included still frames in the report, time-stamped, showing his truck in the lot at various times of day. Page 4. Witness statements. Gloria's coworkers saw Billy following her, saw him in the parking lot, saw him trying to approach her during her shifts. She asked them to document what they saw. They did. Their statements went in the report. Names, dates, times, descriptions of his behavior. Page 5. The tire slashing. On December 30th, Gloria and a coworker went to dinner at a local restaurant after their shift. While they were inside eating, Billy allegedly broke into Gloria's truck in the parking lot and stole 2 backpacks and 2 laptops that she kept in the back seat. Then he went to the hotel parking lot where her coworker's vehicle was parked and slashed all 4 tires. Surveillance footage from the hotel parking lot backed this up. So the footage showed a figure matching Billy's description approaching the vehicle with a knife. Gloria included this in the report. Page 6. Timeline and locations. Gloria created a comprehensive chronological timeline, every date, every time, every location where Billy appeared or contacted her in violation of the order. It was meticulous. It was thorough. It was exactly what prosecutors would need to charge someone with violating a court order. It was a roadmap. Page 7. The fear. I am afraid he is going to kill me. Gloria wrote those words, put them on paper, gave them to police. Not I'm concerned, not I'm worried. I am afraid he is going to kill me. 48 hours later, she was dead. The officer who took the report on December 30th wrote in his notes that Rickman was potentially tracking Gloria with Apple AirTags, that he owned numerous firearms, and that he appeared to be extremely manipulative. The officer noted Gloria's fear, noted the pattern, noted the escalation. The officer became concerned for her safety. But Billy Rickman was not at the scene that night. He wasn't standing there at the police station when Gloria filed the report. So, under Washington state law, as interpreted by the Lakewood Police Department, no arrest could be made. Police had a duty to take the report. They did not, according to the city's legal position, have a duty to locate and arrest Billy Rickman based on that report. Even though Washington's Domestic Violence Protection Act states that violation of a no-contact order triggers a mandatory arrest, even though the officer had probable cause to believe Rickman had violated the order multiple times. Oh, even though Gloria gave them a 7-page roadmap to building a criminal case. No arrest was made. No one went looking for Billy Rickman. No one called him to warn him they knew he was violating the order. No one showed up at his last known address. No one did anything. And 2 days later, Billy Rickman followed Gloria from work and killed her. In September 2023, Gloria Choi's estate filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Lakewood Police Department. The lawsuit alleges that police knew Rickman posed an imminent threat to Gloria, that they had probable cause to arrest him based on the 7-page document and the pattern of violations, that they failed in their duty to protect her under Washington's Domestic Violence Protection Act. The city's response has been consistent throughout the litigation. Police have no obligation to arrest someone who is not at the scene of a reported violation. In January 2025, nearly 3 years after Gloria's murder, a city lawyer defending the Lakewood Police Department stood before a judge and made that position explicitly clear. The judge asked the lawyer directly, "A police officer could still sit back and do nothing in response to a complaint by a domestic violence victim because there's no duty to look for the abuser?" The city's lawyer answered, "That's correct. That exchange happened in a courtroom, on the record, in open court, in a case about a woman who was murdered 2 days after giving police a 7-page document proving her ex-boyfriend was stalking her." Gloria's family lawyer, Megan Driscoll, argues that the city is fundamentally wrong about the law, that Washington's Domestic Violence Protection Act creates a clear duty to locate and arrest an abuser when there's probable cause to believe a no-contact order has been violated. They had everything they needed and more to arrest him, Driscoll said. Video footage, witness statements, a detailed timeline, probable cause for multiple violations. They had Gloria's own words saying she was afraid he was going to kill her. What more could she have given them? The lawsuit remains ongoing as of May 2026. Oral arguments have been heard. Briefs have been filed. Both sides are waiting for a ruling. If Gloria's family wins, it would establish legal precedent in Washington state. Police cannot simply take a report and do nothing when a domestic violence victim provides evidence of ongoing violations. They have a duty to act, a duty to protect, a duty to locate and arrest the abuser. But legal precedent won't bring Gloria back. It won't erase the 911 call where she screamed for help while Billy Rickman shot her 14 times. It won't give her son his mother back. It won't undo the trauma her family has endured. And it won't answer the question that haunts this entire case. If police had arrested Billy Rickman on December 30th or 31st, based on Gloria's 7-page report, would she still be alive? The answer, according to Gloria's lawyers, is yes. Had the Lakewood Police Department not been negligent in their duties, the lawsuit states, Rickman would have been arrested on December 30th or 31st, and he would not have been able to murder Gloria on January 2nd. Here's what we know for certain. Gloria Choi did everything right. She recognized the relationship with Billy Rickman was dangerous. She ended it. When he wouldn't leave her alone, she got a no-contact order. When he violated that order, she documented every violation. She saved emails. She pulled surveillance footage. She got witness statements. She created a timeline. She did exactly what the system tells domestic violence victims to do. She compiled all of it into a 7-page document and gave it to police 48 hours before Billy Rickman killed her. And police did nothing because Billy Rickman wasn't standing there at the desk when she filed the report. So the question this case comes down to is this. Should police have a duty to locate and arrest an abuser when a victim provides evidence of ongoing violations of a court order? Or is their only duty to take a report and send the victim home, hoping the abuser doesn't escalate? The city of Lakewood says they have no duty beyond taking the report, that their obligation ends when they file the paperwork. Gloria's family says that interpretation of the law killed her. As of May 2026, a judge hasn't decided who's right. But here's what I know. Gloria Choi spent days writing a 7-page document because she believed it would save her life. She believed that if she did everything the system told her to do, get the order, document the violations, report to police, someone would protect her. Someone would act. Someone would arrest the man who was stalking her before he had the chance to kill her. No one did. And on January 2nd, 2022, Billy Rickman shot her 14 times while she begged for help on a 911 call. In her final moments, Gloria called for her mother, Iyama, a word that means safety, protection, home, the person who brought you into this world and has kept you safe your entire life. But her mother couldn't save her. Her mother was miles away, unaware that her daughter was dying. And the people who were supposed to save her, the police who took her 7-page report and did nothing, the system that told her documentation would protect her, the officers who read her words, "I am afraid he is going to kill me," and still made no arrest. They didn't save her either. Gloria Choi deserved better. Her son deserves to grow up with his mother. And every domestic violence victim in America deserves to know that when they do everything right, when they document everything, when they report everything, when they hand police a roadmap to stopping their abuser, someone will actually do something to protect them. Because 7 pages should have been enough. As of May 2026, Billy Rickman remains in prison at Monroe Correctional Complex in Snohomish County, Washington. He will never be eligible for parole. He will spend every remaining day of his life behind bars. The wrongful death lawsuit filed by Gloria's estate against the Lakewood Police Department remains unresolved. Court proceedings continue. Both sides are waiting for a judge's ruling on whether police have a duty to act when a domestic violence victim provides evidence of ongoing violations. If the family wins, it could fundamentally change how Washington state law enforcement agencies handle domestic violence, no contact order violations. It could establish clear precedent that police cannot simply take a report and do nothing, that they have a duty to locate and arrest abusers when victims provide probable cause. But it won't bring Gloria back. Former Pierce County prosecutor Greg Greer, who handled Billy Rickman's case from arrest through conviction, retired in 2024. He told reporters he's still trying to find his way back to humanity and forget the violence that surrounded him for so many years. But he's haunted by Gloria's 911 call, by the sound of her voice, by the sound of the gunshots, by the sound of her calling for her mother in Korean as Billy Rickman shot her to death. "It's one of the saddest things you'll ever hear," Greer said. Gloria's son lives with relatives in a different state now. He's growing up without his mother, without the woman who worked nights at a hotel so she could be there for him during the day, without the woman who built her entire life around making sure he had stability, without the woman who loved him more than anything in the world. And the 7 pages Gloria wrote sit in an evidence file somewhere in Lakewood. Proof that she did everything she was supposed to do. Proof that it wasn't enough. Gloria Go-Yun Choi, born October 26, 1988, died January 2nd, 2022. A daughter, a mother, a friend, A manager who remembered her guests' names and made her coworkers feel valued. A woman who loved her family and worked nights at a hotel so she could raise her son. A woman who saw the danger coming and did everything in her power to stop it. She got the protective order. She documented every violation. She gave police a 7-page report detailing exactly what Billy Rickman was doing. She wrote, "I am afraid he is going to kill me," on page 7. 48 hours later, she was dead, and the system that was supposed to protect her said, "We had no duty to act. If that doesn't make you angry, I don't know what will." Gloria Choi deserved better. Her son deserves better. Every domestic violence victim in this country deserves better, because 7 pages should have been enough to save her life. Share this video right now. Share it with everyone you know, because this isn't just Gloria's story. This is the story of every woman who reports abuse and gets told there's nothing police can do until the abuser actually shows up to hurt them. Subscribe, because when that lawsuit verdict comes down, you need to be here. When Washington State finally decides whether police have a duty to protect domestic violence victims who do everything right, you need to know about it. Gloria Choi's name should not be forgotten, and those 7 pages should haunt every person who could have acted and didn't.